Every 10 years by statute, we're required to redistrict. There's a fundamental principle in our democracy, one person, one vote. And so redistricting is a process that brings that back into balance. So as you've had populations shift over time, and they become out of balance because you've got more people living in a district than in the other, redistricting is the process that brings us back into balance. So this is a constitutionally mandated process that happens every 10 years, tied to the census data. And basically, we've got to ensure at a local level that all of our districts are roughly the same in size. So that process is what's kicking off. The committee will do that work of redrawing the maps.
I'm a demographer by training, so I study population, all aspects of population. We serve here in the State Data Center as sort of a resource for data people at all to help them, essentially. The big thing that we're looking at in this redistricting process is that the council districts are going to shift what I would consider maybe a bit dramatically.
If we had a hypothetical city of 4 people, and you drew an even district of 2, right? Each district would have 2 people, okay? So each council person would represent the votes of 2 people. Well, if over that 10-year time period, one of those people moved from District 1 to District 2, okay, suddenly District 1 has 1 council person representing 1 person, and District 2 has 1 council person representing 3 people. So essentially, the vote of this council person represents far fewer people, and so their vote is technically worth more because the 1 council person is only representing 1 person, where the council person is representing 3 people. So what redistricting does is redraws those lines and says, okay, we got to get back to even.
All of the council districts on the west side of I-65 have too few people, and while all the council districts on the east side of 65 have too many people.
We've got some obligations under the law that we've got to follow, so those are first and foremost. So specifically, our districts have to be within plus or minus 5% of each other, so they've got to be roughly equal in size.
We're also really interested in seeing how the racial distribution has changed.
There is another aspect around minority representation, that you create a certain number of districts that are representative of the city as a whole, where you have majority minority districts represented. Legally, the districts have to be contiguous as well, so we can't sort of skip around the county.
When redistricting happens, whoever is in charge of it will try to keep communities of interest together, so like not break up neighborhoods.
There's very little to be worried about. The worst thing that's going to happen is you have a council person today whom you love, and you might be represented by somebody different in the future. And if you're interested in running for office and you thought you were going to run against person A, you might end up being in a district that runs against person B. If you have a council person that you don't like very much, you might be in for good news, because you might get somebody that you like better.
There's actually 3 different redistrictings that are going on. There's the congressional districts, the actual U.S. congressional districts. There's the state Senate and House districts, and then there's the local districts like Metro Council, which are handled locally. So the process is essentially the same. It's the body that's in charge of doing the redistricting that is different.
As chair of the committee, my job is basically to be the project manager, so making sure that everybody understands what our obligations are, and ultimately creating a product that I think 26 people can agree on. The maps that get drawn are decided by the Metro Council. We will create the maps, then we will vote on the maps as a body. Assuming we pass those maps, they will go to the mayor, and assuming that he signs off on them, they will become law, and those will be the district maps that will guide us for the next 10 years.
What we're looking at, Louisville Metro, Jefferson County,